Stop eating garlic right now. Or at least stop eating it the way you probably have for decades. Because the uncomfortable truth is that most people are unknowingly turning one of the most powerful medicinal foods on earth into nothing more than a smelly seasoning, and in some cases they are actually making it harmful rather than helpful, and that single clove of garlic you just tossed straight into a sizzling hot pan may have destroyed nearly everything that makes garlic worth eating in the first place, which sounds dramatic until you understand the science, because garlic has been revered as medicine for more than 5,000 years, used by ancient Egyptians who fed it to pyramid builders for strength and endurance, consumed by Greek athletes before Olympic competitions to enhance performance, prescribed by early physicians for infections, circulation, and vitality. And now modern research keeps confirming that our ancestors were not guessing or following superstition. They were observing real physiological effects long before lab equipment existed, with a 2016 meta-analysis published in the Journal of Nutrition reviewing 20 controlled studies involving nearly 1,000 participants, showing that garlic reduced total cholesterol by an average of 17 milligrams per deciliter, which is not a trivial change but a clinically meaningful shift that rivals some medications, and another study from the University of Adelaide showing garlic supplements lowering systolic blood pressure by an average of 4.6 millimeters of mercury in people with hypertension, a reduction large enough that for many seniors it could mean delaying medication, reducing dosage, or lowering long-term risk. But here's the problem. Nobody explains clearly. Most people are making critical garlic mistakes that completely cancel out these benefits. Some of those mistakes simply waste your money, while others quietly increase health risks, especially as you age, which is why more doctors and researchers are starting to speak up about this, and why one mistake in particular has been shown by the American Institute for Cancer Research to destroy up to 90% of garlic's most powerful compound in seconds. But before we get to that most important mistake, we need to work backward through the others, because each one chips away at garlic's medicinal power in ways most people never notice, starting with ignoring personal garlic sensitivity, because while garlic is natural and widely promoted as healthy, it is not tolerated equally by everyone, particularly older adults. Since garlic contains fructans, a type of fermentable carbohydrate that many people cannot digest properly, especially those with irritable bowel syndrome, and studies published in gastroenterology and hepatology have shown that up to 70% of IBS patients experience symptom relief when they remove high FODMAP foods like garlic. And what makes this especially relevant for seniors is that digestion changes with age. Enzyme production slows, gut motility alters, and foods that never caused problems before can suddenly trigger bloating, cramps, or gas in your 60s or 70s, leading many people to assume it is just aging rather than diet, when in reality garlic may be the hidden culprit, which does not mean garlic must be eliminated entirely, because garlic-infused oils allow the flavor and some beneficial compounds to transfer without the fructans that cause digestive distress, making them a smart compromise if you pay attention to how your body responds within a few hours of consumption. Which brings us to storage mistakes, particularly refrigerating whole garlic bulbs, a habit that seems logical but actually degrades quality and nutrition, because cold temperatures and moisture trigger sprouting, changing the chemical makeup of garlic, making it bitter, rubbery, and less potent, as shown in agricultural chemistry research, whereas whole bulbs stored in a cool, dry, dark place with airflow can last for months with better flavor and stability. And once you break the bulb, the clock starts ticking, because the beneficial compounds begin degrading immediately, which is why relying on jarred pre-minced garlic is one of the most damaging shortcuts people take. Since studies from the University of Alabama at Birmingham found that jarred garlic contains almost no allicin, the compound responsible for garlic's cardiovascular and immune benefits, because allicin is unstable and only forms after fresh garlic is crushed, then rapidly degrades with time, processing, and preservatives, meaning that while jarred garlic adds flavor, it provides almost none of the health effects people believe they are getting, and if convenience matters. A garlic press or pre-peeled cloves are vastly better options, because even 10 seconds of effort preserves exponentially more benefit. But even fresh garlic can become a problem when people assume more is better. consuming excessive amounts of raw garlic under the belief that doubling or tripling intake multiplies benefits, when in reality, the World Health Organization suggests just 1 to 2 cloves per day for therapeutic effects, because higher doses frequently cause digestive upset and can increase bleeding risk, which becomes particularly concerning for seniors or anyone taking blood. Thinning medications like warfarin, aspirin, or clopidogrel, since garlic has natural antiplatelet effects, and documented cases in pharmacology journals show elevated bleeding risk and prolonged clotting times when garlic supplements are combined with these drugs, meaning garlic should be treated with the same respect as medication, rather than dismissed as harmless food, especially before surgery, where anesthesiology guidelines recommend stopping garlic supplements at least 2 weeks in advance to prevent excessive bleeding complications, and even beyond medication interactions. Timing matters, because eating raw garlic on a completely empty stomach is a recipe for nausea, heartburn, and gastric irritation, particularly in older adults whose stomach lining has thinned with age, making food buffers essential, which is why garlic should always be consumed with meals, or at least some neutral food. But even when timing and quantity are correct, cooking methods can silently destroy garlic's benefits, with microwaving being one of the worst offenders, as shown in Journal of Nutrition studies where just 1 minute of microwave heating eliminated garlic's anti-cancer activity entirely, because rapid high heat denatures the enzymes before beneficial compounds can form, and throwing garlic directly into scorching oil does nearly the same thing, since allicin degrades rapidly above 140 degrees Celsius, a temperature exceeded in most sautéing, which is why adding garlic at the end of cooking preserves far more of its medicinal properties. But all of these mistakes pale in comparison to the single most important and least known rule of garlic consumption, which is failing to let crushed garlic rest before cooking. Because allicin does not exist in intact garlic at all. It forms only when the enzyme alliinase converts alliin into allicin, after the clove is crushed or chopped, and this enzymatic reaction takes time, with research clearly showing that garlic heated immediately after cutting produces minimal benefit, while garlic allowed to rest for about 10 minutes before heating retains dramatically higher biological activity, meaning that this one pause transforms garlic from a flavor enhancer into a true medicinal food, explaining why laboratory studies consistently show benefits that home cooks rarely experience, because researchers prepare garlic correctly, while most people unknowingly destroy the enzyme before it can work, and once allicin has fully formed it, becomes far more resistant to heat, making even cooked garlic beneficial if prepared properly, which is why the simplest, most powerful change anyone can make is to crush garlic, walk away for 10 minutes, then cook or consume it, whether raw in dressings, mixed into hummus, or lightly cooked at the end of a dish. Because when used correctly, garlic supports cardiovascular health, cholesterol regulation, blood pressure balance, immune function, and metabolic health in ways few foods can match. And when used incorrectly, it becomes little more than aroma and irritation. Which is why understanding these mistakes matters so much, because small changes in preparation create massive differences in outcome, and garlic has earned its reputation as medicine over thousands of years, but only for those who respect how it works, not just how it tastes.